Hi guys, it's your favorite maths teacher once again. Now on this session, we'll be basically dealing with sequences in series. Now on the question that we are given here, they're saying the sum of the first n terms or the number of terms of the series 3 over 4 plus 3 over 2 plus 3 is 23 and 1 over 4. And then the question says determine n. So we all know that n represents the number of terms. Now to start with, you must write your data that you are actually having, right? So with regards to your data, it means to say this 23 and 1 over 4, what does it represent? It represents the sum of the number of terms. So I'm going to say Sn is equals to what? 23 and 1 over 4. Now, one thing that you need to understand is that 23 and 1 over 4 can be written as what? You know that you're going to say 4 times 23 plus 1 over 4, right? It means that it can be written as what? Let's double check that. 23 and 1 over 4. So it can be written as 93 over 4, right? So this one I'm going to write 93 over 4. So it means that for my sum of the number of terms, I will basically use 93 over 4. Now continuing, we know that we are also having the value of A. Now A represents the first term, which is T1. That is going to be 3 over 4 that is being given right there, right? And then it means that we must find what? We must find the common ratio being given as R. So we know that for us to find the common ratio R, we're going to say common ratio R is equals to the second term divided by the first term. Now don't forget that this is T1 for the series T2 as well as T3, right? And then now we want to get our common ratio. So I can just say R is equals to, now T2 is 3 over 2. So I'm going to write 3 over 2. Now remember, we are having a division sign. I can write the division sign to avoid having many division signs there. I can write divide by in that format. And then you can see that my term 1 is going to be represented by 3 over 4. So I'm going to write 3 over 4. So in a nutshell, our common ratio there, when we say what? When we say 3 over 2, all divided by what? By 3 over 4, you must get 2, right? So your common ratio right there is going to be 2. Now, with regards to this, remember we are solving or we are determining n. That represents the number of terms of this series. Now, it means to say our n is going to be question mark in that regard, right? And then, since now we want to calculate the sum of the, we want to calculate n in this case. Remember, we are given the sum of the number of terms of this series being given as 23 and 1 over 4, that you can entail write it as 93 over 4. Now, with that being said, we know that we're going to use this formula to calculate the sum of the number of terms of this series, which is given as what? Sn is equals to what? A into r to the exponent of n minus 1 all over r minus 1. So we know that here r must be always bigger than what? R must be always bigger than 1, and then our r should not be equals to 1, right? And then with regards to that, in a place of now Sn, I know that my sum of the number of terms, remember, I'm going to now use what? I'm going to now use 93 over 4. So I'm going to write 93 over 4 here. So 93 divided by 4 is equals to, now we can see that we are having A from our data. Our A is 3 over 4. So I'm just going to write 3 over 4 into, now our common ratio is 2. Then since we are looking at determining n, I'm going to write n minus 1, right? And then all divided by, remember our common ratio r is 2. So we say 2 minus 1, right? And then to start with, we can write it like this. 93 all over 4 is equals to, remember this can be written as what? This will be written as 3 over 4 into what? Into 2 to the exponent of n minus 1. Because when you check this one, it's on the denominator is 2 minus 1. Now 2 minus 1 is going to be 1, right? So it's not going to affect us. Now we're going to be working with this on the next step, right? So let's just try to write it aside. So what are we basically having? Remember that we're having 93 over, let's double check, it's 93 over 4 over 4, it's equals to what? It's equals to 3 over 4 into what? 3 over 4 into 2 to the exponent of n minus 1. So we'll write 2 to the exponent of n minus 1. Now what you're going to do here, a lot of learners, they like panicking when they arrive here. So I'm going to write 3 over 4 as it is. Remember that here we are having 2 to the exponent of n minus 1, right? And then on the other hand, I'm having 93 all over 4. So what I'm going to do here, it means that I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal of 3 over 4, which is going to be 4 over 3 both sides, times 4 over 3 both sides. Do you see? Why am I doing this? I know that 4 cancels 4, 3 cancels 3, and then on the far right, what am I having? It means that I'm going to have 2 to the exponent of n minus 1, right? And then here, you'll be saying 4 cancels 4, then you'll be left with 93 over 3, right? So here we'll be just left with, 93 over 3. Let me just write it. So we'll be left with 93 all over 3. Now I'm going to say, when it's like this, remember, you can write it like that. You can just say, let's double check, 93 all over 3. Then when we add 1 plus 1, so what you're going to do here, let's see if 93 over 3 is divisible by 3. So you're going to say 93 divided by 3, which will give you 31. Yes. So you're going to get 31. It's equals to 2 to the exponent of n minus 1. And then from here, you're going to say 31. Remember, you're going to take negative 1. You transpose it on the other side. It changes the sign to become positive 1. It's equals to 2 to the exponent of n, right? And then you're going to add 31 plus 1. That will be 32. It's equals to 2 to the exponent of n. Now, I want to show you what you need to do from here. So remember, we're having 32. It's equals to 2 to the exponent of n, right? So one thing that you need to understand from here, we know that we must change 32 and write it with the base of 2, right? So we know that 32, when we write it with the base of 2, it will be 2 to the exponent of what? 5 is equals to 2 to the exponent of n. Now math says when the bases are the same, you equate the exponents, right? It will be 5 is equals to n. Therefore, n is equals to 5. Now, since we got n is equals to 5, we know that this is our what? This is our final answer. So, with regards to this question, this is how basically you must be able to do what? You must be able to solve this question in this regard, based on what I've showed you, based on what you need to understand this way. It's your favorite math teacher once again. Stay tuned for more.